What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. We are tackling the fuel system today on the 72 Chevelle LS3 project. He's already got the gas tank in there. It's a brand new gas tank from Aeromotive fuel system he went with. So we got to plumb the lines. We have to set up his fuel filter regulator. He got an aftermarket Aeromotive fuel filter as well for the setup for the motor. So it's already mounted in the car as far as the gas tank goes. So we're gonna have to pull the tank down real quick. I've already kind of got it protected for the most part. We got our trusty jack here. And I also set up the quick jacks. Set up the quick jacks on it so that way it was a little easier for us to climb underneath this thing, get it up in the air. So let's go ahead and drop the gas tank and see what we're working with. Along with the fuel lines, we're gonna have to make some fittings, run some wire. You guys can see we got fuel line to run and all that jazz. But let's get to work, y'all. How's my hair? How's my hair, y'all? Okay, first order of business with this fuel system. Now, we are running wire. Now, this Aeromotive system comes with its own relay pack. We're gonna go ahead and utilize that. And you can see down here, I got the wire from my relay. I already pre-ran it through the front and started it through the frame, but we want it to land right here in this area where the fuel tank sits at, right? So what I did, I went fishing. I'm going fishing, I should say, but you guys like to go fishing? So, stuck my fish tape in there and see if we can get that wire to come out through the frame here. And, oh, goddamn, come on. It definitely would help if I had somebody on the other side kind of feeding it in. It's getting caught up somewhere. Come on. Oh man, it's jammed. I can see it in your eyes. There you are, girl. Come over in here. Oh yeah. There we go. Oh no. No! Oh man, you guys want to see something? Oh crap. This is the kind of stuff they don't want to show you. But I want to show you what I did because I'm an idiot. Come on, dog. You see what happened? Oh no. What the junk, bro. You see what happened? It's caught up and over this stupid quick jack. God damn it. Oh man. Oh, what did I do? Why did I do that? Oh, okay, y'all. Alright, let me pull it back out. Oh man, that was a little bit of a nightmare. Learn from my mistakes, y'all. Okay, so we got it coming out of that hole right there, out of the frame, guys. And I really want to say this, is that I see this a lot when other people's cars, when people do a swap EFI setup and they run their fuel pump wires or anything like that, and they're just running them all across the middle of the car, all over the place, next to the exhaust and everything. I mean, that's how you burn people down. Don't do that, man. Do not do that. You can do what I did. Like I said, just fish it through the frame. You'll never have a problem with it next to the exhaust or anything like that. But you can do them on the frame as well. I've done both, so you don't have to run them through the frame. I've done it on top of the frame and everything else, just zip tied in or clamped in, however you want to go about it. But just make sure they're nowhere near anything that's hot. So just saying. But here is also our fuel gauge wire. So that way that'll sit on top of the Aeromotive tank and screw on. And it's kind of nice, guys. The Aeromotive tanks, I've never dealt with one, but it only has 3 connectors. So they got that one and then just these 2, right? So I also, when I ran this, I cut it down because it was way too long. So I cut it down, put some new connectors on it as well, hinge shrinked and everything. So we'll hook that up. We can actually have plenty of length here, so when we drop the tank, it'll drop with it, and then you can disconnect it and you don't have to worry about any snag or anything like that. But next up, we got to go ahead and locate that fuel filter. We're going to see where we can mount it, maybe on the side of the frame or something like that. But let me go grab it and see what we can do with it. So this is what we got going on. Got the nut inserts. I got this one done already, but I wanted to show you guys before I put this one in. So you drill out your hole for the size of that nut insert, and then you mash it in there real quick. You're gonna have to hold it up a little bit, I think it looks like. Let me grab the tool. So this guy, it's a neat deal, but the problem is it doesn't fit everywhere. So you can see how big and bulky this thing is. So you're gonna have to have enough room to do it wherever you're doing these at. See if I can try to do this with one hand. So you put that in there and then you thread that up. If I can see if I can start the thread here. Okay, you push up and then you pinch down. Let's see if I can do this. I think we did it. Looks like we did it. Just like that. Whew. That was kind of hard, y'all, with one hand. Shite. But just like that, we got our spots now where we can mount that guy there. That guy there will mount like so. And then we just take our bolts and thread it up. And then if you ever need to take this off, you don't have to worry about going underneath the carpet or anything like that. And then you can service it or whatever you have to do to it. But we did have to drill these out a little bit because the size nut insert we had was a little bit bigger than that hole because I didn't have anything else that would work. So let me put this on and I'll show you what it looks like. Clean, clean. I like it, y'all. I like it. Also, make sure you guys' flow direction is going the right way. I've already checked it before we put the clamp on. This guy goes this way, but it is nice and mounted. Now what we'll do is we'll continue and we'll start our fitting here. That guy will go there like that, something like this. And what we'll do is we'll start here and we'll go towards the front of the car because we have to run a return line. So we want to run them together. So just like that, we'll run the return line with it side by side that way, and they all run the same direction going towards the back of the tank. So we'll work our way towards the front of the car because we have to figure out where to put that fuel pressure regulator as well. See you up there. Gotta get this coffee in real quick. What up, y'all? It is the next morning, next day. Had to quit last night. Had to take the fam to dinner and it got late. But let me show you guys what I got going on, what we kind of came up with, what I was working on. Just like that. What you guys think? Super rough, very rough on the bracket, but it is there, it is functional. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trim it up a little bit more around the edges and stuff like that, clean it up, and then we'll put a coat of paint on it so that way it blends in, doesn't stick out. But I think it's gonna look good, you guys. It's gonna look like it's just kind of floating there and it's still serviceable. You can still see the gauge on it and everything. So I like it. I like it. Better than putting it on the firewall. All right, let's take this thing off and then get it cleaned up. What y'all think? Not too shabby, huh? Also put a little piece of that foam right there, the little Noiko foam, just in the back because those nuts kind of stick out a little bit, and I really don't want those nuts hitting that brake booster, you know, so just kind of protect that. A little insulation there, but this should go something like that. And then we'll put a couple nuts in the front of it to hold it from keeping moving. But what y'all think? Looks all right. Hopefully looks pretty good, huh? Doesn't look too bad. All right, let me bolt these down real quick, and then we'll make some lines up so we can start routing our feed and return. So what we're gonna end up doing, it looks like we're gonna have our feed come in here, return down at the bottom, coming back, and then actually our inlet to the fuel rail right there, just this top one here. Oh, another thing I want to show you guys what I had to do. We were having an issue here with the coil packs up here with this ICT billet bracket. This coil pack actually sits about an inch further back, and it was not going to happen. It was not going to work with the brake booster there. So what I ended up having to do here is I had to make my own hole here and then relocate the entire coil pack a little bit forward. If you can tell, this one sits a little bit further closer than the rest. So that's kind of what you had to do. I retapped it and then tapped the aluminum out, threaded it so we can actually get the bolt on there, created a new hole, and then that way we can actually get a spark plug on there, a spark plug wire. We'll put those on as well to make sure they don't interfere with this fuel line. So I don't know if you guys ever messed with this PTFE hose and ends. Pain in the butt. They have this little olive in there that you have to wedge in between like the actual stainless steel braided stuff. Not to mention you need something really good to cut it with. So I cut it with usually this chop saw, but it's a pain in the butt because like I said, you got to set it up and then you got to build these lines. These lines are super time consuming. Then you want to make sure you have this nut all the way down here. All right, boys, I am underneath the car. What a pain in the butt. It's been probably a day and a half because it's time consuming, man. It's super time consuming figuring out how to route these lines, but this is kind of what I got going on. We got the stainless steel line and we have the black braided line in cahoots there together because the kit that he bought didn't come enough of this black hose, so we ended up having to use that stainless steel one that was also in the kit. It's just the difference in having the black braided over it and not, but it's the same PTFE hose on the inside, so it's all the same. So we got it routed like that, coming like so up to the top of our fuel filter here, coming back out and then back over like that, and then like so. We got our clamp down up there. I can get my light situated up and down. Really try to tuck this thing away from everything else. That was the biggest thing, trying to figure out how to route this thing. It's always a challenge. Every car is a little bit different, no matter if even it's the same car, believe it or not. So I got it coming to here, do the support brace along here. We got our clamp down here so I can't go anywhere once it gets there. Then we got it going through here and then going up and over kind of where the original place was at for the fuel lines. Through there we also eliminated a bunch of the stuff that was there from stock, got that out of there as well. And then they land here up and over, and then we have our two sitting here, fuel and return, and got our AN fittings on it. That was a pain in the butt. PTFE lines, guys, suck to install, by the way. Not to mention this, you always want to take in consideration routing your lines, because I literally mocked everything in already. I've had these lines in and out about 3 times, and you want to route everything and mock everything in, but you have to take in consideration that you're doing it and you don't have these fittings on. So what'll happen is you'll wedge these lines through a certain crack or a seam, and before you know it, you put the lines on and then you cannot put it back to that same area you just were in, because it's a lot bulkier. Now you have an end on it. So take that all in consideration. It ends up being a pain in the butt if you do not, because I've seen people route these, they fit them on, get everything on them, all the fittings, and next thing you know, you can't put it where you just stuck it through because the hole's not big enough to fit it with the actual fitting. And trust me, I've done it myself. I'm guilty as well. But now that we got that situated, we can put the tank in place, get the tank up there mounted up, and also connected with our lines as well. So let's see if we can get that tank up now. Another thing we got to do is we got to flush all these lines. End up flushing everything out before we start the car, so always take that in consideration. All right, y'all, what a pain in the butt. You guys already know how a pain of a butt it is for dropping a gas tank, putting a gas tank in on the ground, on the floor. For the most part, my lift is tied up, that's why we're doing everything on the floor, but it is what it is. But the quick jacks do help, you guys. Probably the best thing I've ever bought from the garage by far. But tank is in, got all that situated, everything's hooked up, wired in, ready to go. We just need to add some fuel, obviously, once we're ready to flush the system. Don't forget about that, super important. But I do want to tell you guys that these tanks do not come with any kind of ventilation built into them like the tank sink do. They come usually with a valve that you have to add on, but these do not. So what you have to do is just, according to Aeromotive, I actually spoke with them. All you got to do is go down AutoZone, O'Reilly's, wherever you guys got to go, and get you guys a vented gas cap. We still have to do that before we run this thing. Get you a vented gas cap, and that's it. You know, I don't know, $5-10 for a vented gas cap, I guess. But that's all you got to do. Get a vented gas cap, and you should be good. I don't remember if I showed you guys the front up here set up. Everything is complete up here for the most part. Got the Aeromotive fuel pressure regulator. Everything is hooked up, ready to go. It is a little snug, super tight around here with the inlet and everything, but everything looks super clean. I mean, I'm really happy too, because I was afraid you were going to be able to see that stainless steel line, and you can't even see it underneath there. It runs underneath back to our return. Can't even see it. We got our feeds line here plumbed to our fuel rail, stock fuel rail, and we even threw in the spark plug wires to make sure that we were going to have no issues there. But everything clears, everything looks good. Once we get the car running, get some fuel in it, we'll flush everything. We'll also make sure there's no leaks or anything like that. So make sure that before you really start running the car, make sure there's no leaks and everything else before you move it. But it is coming along, you guys. We got a few little things to tidy up, a little I should say, to kind of get the car ready for the road. Like, not to mention drive shaft. We still are waiting on the cross member. We're still waiting on the cross member. It sucks. I don't know what's going on with Holly. It's kind of what happens when you get parts from overseas, right? It is what it is. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know about this Aeromotive fuel system, if you guys ever used it. I really like it so far. All we have to do, we got a few wires to connect in here for our relay. That's about it. We got a few power wires to run and things like that, but nothing crazy. So, but guys, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell for notifications, and stay wrenching.